hours. Thank you very much. This is the largest crowd I've ever spoke to. I'm usually used to about 100 or something. I want to thank Jay-Z and the school and Ramtha at some point when I get to meet him. Thank you very much for inviting me. I was really surprised, and I have a friend named Val Valerian, and I got on the phone and I called him and I said, "Hey, what do you know about this bunch?" And he can attest to it. He said, "Well, I'm one of that bunch." So here I am. Is Val here? I want to thank Val for putting the information on the Leading Edge webpage. Because of that, it went into Nexus magazine, and it's gone all over the world on a grassroots level, and it's just great. He takes a lot of risks to share the truth with people, and let's give him a hand. Okay, brief overview. I have, for 30 years, been visited and taken on board by beings who live in the constellation of Andromeda. They are light blue. They look like that color of that, but they have no hair. Okay, it's interesting. Given quite a few strands of hair away. Used to be a lot more hair here before the contacts, you see. This is what 10 years will do. Gosh, I hardly know where to start. They're awesome. They're a very healed race, and after thinking about it, I think the reason they're so healed is because they have absolute mutual respect for everyone. And they've said that that's the only way we're going to have a healed race and planet, is if we have mutual respect for each other. And I realize that there's not a lot of that teaching going on anymore in our world. I've had to look at the character of our race on Earth, because I'm blessed to be able to compare it to something else. And folks, we got a lot of work to do, and we have a very short time in which to do it. A lot of things are really going to start happening around February, March, April of next year. And I wish I could just tell you it's all love and light, but that's just not reality. We live in a duality here, and there are definitely some people screwing races that are screwing with us. And I understand from talking with Jay-Z for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It went by in 5 minutes. So it's true, there is no time. That you're being taught a lot of what to do. Self-sufficiency and self-preservation and being totally self-responsible. It is imperative that what you know when you leave here, you go home and you teach. Because this truth isn't out there. And this is one of the sadnesses that I have, is because I have been shown some probable futures. And a lot of people don't make it. 2/3 of the planet don't make it in those probable scenarios. And I truly don't want that to happen. There are a lot of really good, generous people, but they don't know the truth. They have no way of attaining the truth because of where they are on a consciousness level. And you're all teachers. You're all leaders. You were leaders before you came in here. You were teachers before you came in here. But when you go out of here, from what I understand from Val and Judy and Judy Pope and talking to Jay-Z and Greg, that you're going to walk out of here professors, PhDs. So don't be afraid. The word warrior originally meant not being afraid of who you are. Okay, it didn't mean slash them up, cut them up, murder, betray. It didn't mean any of that crap. Okay, it meant not being afraid to be who you are. And you are all true human beings. We are all royalty. And I will get into that. I once asked, I'll jump back. The two beings that come to see me and that I have gone with are two Andromedans, a very tall one who's 7.5 feet tall, almost 8 feet. He's 450 pounds, and I mean, he's just like that. I was very self-conscious. You know, it's a male thing. His name is Morine. And the shorter one, as they get older, their skin pales, they turn to white. Their average lifespan is, in our linear time, would be 2007 years. So, of course, you see a lot of changes in that amount of time. You know, I mean, hanging out here for 60 years is just a weekend, you know. And the other one, his name is Phaseus. And Phaseus, in our linear time, is 4,300 years old. He is considered a sage in his world. And he will be crossing over, in other words, he will be moving out of their physicality soon. And in Andromeda, when somebody makes the crossover, moves out of their physicality, it's a celebration. You know, we're here, unless you're Irish, it's a somber occasion. You know, the Irish have the great right idea. They party, you know. Divide his clothes and everything. Anyway, I once asked Phaseus, you know, what was to become of our future? You know, what was going to happen to us? And I want to read you this definition of what he said. Now, some of you may have already seen it in the magazine or visited Val's website or, you know, seen the bootleg videos that are all over the place. But this is what they said. Responsible freedom of self-determination. Becoming truly self-confident and free. To unconditionally be responsible for oneself without being coerced to accept some higher authority. Now, I understand this is exactly what you're being taught. And I knew, which is really nice, is this is confirmation not only for me, but also for Jay-Z and her people. Because I didn't know anything about Jay-Z until about 3 weeks ago. In fact, I've given channelers a bad rap. So, what you're witnessing is me eating crow. Oh. And I don't like to eat crow. That's a male thing too, I think. Oh. Hey, the changes that are coming are really going to affect, from what I've been told by Morine and Phaseus, the males the most. Because we are the most shut down. Not only genetically, but spiritually as well. I'm being general, okay? I'm not meaning all of you. I'm just pretending like the whole world's listening. Looks like the whole world in here. One of the most profound things that I had to experience was that I was living in Lake Arrowhead, California at the time. This is 1987. Contacts had resumed for 2 years. And everything I was having a Murphy year. Okay, I don't know. You know Murphy? Shit happens. I was having a Murphy year. And I was just like, sure, I'll check out of here. You know, the first cab that comes by. Anyway, Phaseus had come to see me, and we had some discussions. There was more teaching, and anyway, it was time to come back, and I didn't want to come back. And I would have embarrassed all of you the way I carried on. But I just didn't want to. I was just like, you know, nothing's working here. Let's try something different. And, you know, here I am in another reality already. So they were bringing me back. I was literally forced to come back. And as I'm on the ground and they're leaving, lifting off, Visayas, I hear Visayas in my head, because he's telepathic. He's strictly telepathic. He said, Alex, turn around. So I turned around, and I'm just crying, and I'm like, oh, God, you're abandoning me. And and he just looked at me and he said, Alex, the love that you withhold is the pain that you carry, lifetime after lifetime. And folks, there's not a day that goes by I don't remind myself of that, or I don't think about that. And